In this modern era, in a world of growing technology with so many incredible inventions like fast cars, chips on brains, satellites on sky, space shuttles, artificial intelligence, humanoid robots, and I'm not sure what is more on the research tables that is yet to come, this generation has come to a conclusion that the Bible and the information given in it is outdated and it is not applicable for the current age. What they are trying to say is that the human knowledge has gone far advanced than the information given in the Bible. Now, that's actually not true. In today's episode, what we are going to see is that we are going to compare two scientific facts on when the Bible had provided that particular information, and at the same time, how many years it took for the scientists to discover the same information. By this, we will know whether the information given in the Bible is outdated or not. Hello everyone, this is Michelle. It's gonna be a very interesting episode. We are going to see some amazing scientific facts in the Bible. Come, let's take a look. We are going to look at two scientific facts which is pretty commonly known by everyone. But what I'm trying to establish today is that we are going to see how many years it took for the scientists for them to discover that information, and at the same time, when does the Bible give us the same information? What I want to convey is, if the scientists had gone to the Bible, it would have been much easier for them to understand the natural law. So the first information what we are going to see is the earth is spherical. Now, when I say the earth is spherical, for our generation, it may not be a surprising thing, or we might not even have a second thought on that, because right from our childhood, right from our school days, we had been educated how the earth is and how it looks, and we have seen so many images from satellites, we have seen globe, and so we have a good understanding that the earth is spherical. But that was not the case before this was discovered. Before, what people believed was, they believed the earth was flat. They called this as the flat earth theory. Historically, if we look at this, it was Pythagoras, a Greek philosopher, who first suggested the concept that the earth was not flat, but it might be spherical. But he did not provide any scientific evidences. But then later on in the 4th century, it was another Greek philosopher, Aristotle, who provided scientific evidences to prove that the earth was spherical. How he proved was Earth's shadow on the moon. During the lunar eclipse, Earth comes between the sun and moon, casting a shadow on the moon. What Aristotle observed was the shadow that fell on the moon was always circular, no matter when the eclipse happened. Only a sphere can cast a circular shadow on every angle. So by this, he observed and he discovered that the earth was not flat and it was spherical. The second evidence which he provided was different stars from different places. If the earth was flat, everyone should see the same stars from wherever they are. But people see different stars in different places because the angle changes in around earth. That was the second evidence. Now the third evidence which he presented was the ship's hull part disappeared first. When ships disappeared into the sea, it did not completely disappear. The first part to disappear was the hull part of the ship. This is because in a spherical earth, as the ships go farther away from the side, it started to disappear from the bottom and not from the top, or it did not disappear as a whole. It again proves that the earth is spherical in shape. After this, there were no talks about this, or no philosophers or scientists provided information to prove the spherical shape of the earth. And then in the 16th century, two sailors, Magellan and Elcano, set sail around the world. This was called the Magellan Expedition, the first successful voyage around the earth. And only after this, there were changes in navigations across the globe, and people had found a practical proof for a spherical earth. Only after this expedition, people came to know how the earth actually looked and how huge it was in reality than they imagined, and the maps which they had started to change accordingly. Now we are going to compare this fact with the Bible. In the Bible, the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse number 22 says, "It is he who sits above the circle of the earth." Make a note of this word, circle. Isaiah book was written 2800 years back, and that was 400 years before the days of Pythagoras and Aristotle. So that's how advanced scientific information was given by the Bible before the philosophers had discovered it. Now, moving on to the second fact. Just like how we know that the earth is spherical, we also know that the earth is free floating on space. We have seen so many videos and images, so this generation we do not have a second thought on it. But this was not the case before this particular thing was discovered. Back then, people had so many different concepts, and there were so many different mythologies which suggested weird conceptions like the earth was placed on a mystical creature or a giant turtle was carrying the entire earth. There was no proper understanding of where the earth was, and they were not able to give a proper explanation to it. The Greek philosophers were not able to find, and they suggested a geocentric theory. That is, the earth is placed on the center and sun and the other planets are revolving around it. But they had no scientific evidence for this. Later, in the 16th century, it was Nicholas Copernicus who proposed the heliocentric model. What I mean by heliocentric model is that the sun was placed in the middle and all the planets were revolving around the sun. But this was proved only after the discovery of gravity by Sir Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton showed why Earth stays in motion without falling. And after this, we got so many observable evidences from images which were taken from space. So it had taken up to the 16th century for the humans to discover the free-floating concept of Earth in space. Now, let's turn to the Bible and see when the Bible talks about this. In the book of Job, chapter 26, verse number 7, the verse says, "He stretches out the north over empty space. He hangs the earth on nothing." Now take a note of the word mentioned here. He hangs the earth on nothing. The Bible clearly mentions that the earth is hanging on nothing. It's just an incredible information written, right? The book of Job was written 3,500 years back. So the time difference between when the Bible tells us this information and when the scientists discovered this information is almost 3,000 years. That proves how advanced the Bible is. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. If we truly read the Bible and if we take a closer look to understand more on what the information is there provided in it, I definitely believe that this is the key to understand the law of nature more and more. And I also believe that there are thousands of things which we have still not discovered, but it is already mentioned in the Bible. That is how advanced the Bible is, and it is still reliable for us in this age also. The Holy Bible is a treasure given by God to us. This is not an outdated book. If we take a deeper look, I'm pretty sure that there is a lot more for us to discover. If it's God's will, in the coming weeks, we'll see more scientific information which is given in the Bible. See you next week. God bless you.